there Democrats in the House? Do we have labor in the House? Are we fired up? Are we going to win? Yeah, darn right we are. Let's start, don't start trouble. Let's start with a great Democratic chairman who ran a great campaign. Let's give Byron Brown a great round of applause. My partner, the indefatigable Kathy Hochul, who's been a great partner and next lieutenant governor. We have the next people's lawyer. How excited are we about Tish James? We have my colleague for 30 years, the great mayor of the city of New York. I knew Bill de Blasio since he was this tall. Bill de Blasio, give him a round of applause. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, the rising star in Washington. We have Senator Serrano, the conference leader, with us. Let's give him a round of applause. My friends, let me congratulate each and every person in this room. This was an extraordinary campaign, and I have been through a lot of them. But this one worked. Labor worked, the candidates worked, the county committees worked. We all came together and made history. That election primary night made history thanks to you. Congratulations. Now, we have to learn from it, and we have to build on it. And it's important that we see it in the context of yesterday and tomorrow. Yesterday was the Trump election. I know we don't like to think about it. It's depressing. But the context is important because we did lose the election. And it's okay to lose as long as you learn from it and you don't make it a habit and you come back the next time and you knock the guy on his rear end. And that is exactly what we are going to do. And I believe the reason we lost with Mr. Trump was we didn't have the Democratic Party energized and mobilized the way we needed to have it. We didn't have nationwide what we had last Thursday. Why did 1.5 million people turn out? Why? All across the state, all races, all demographic groups turned out in record numbers. More than anyone could have imagined. All the genius pundits, all wrong, all of them. They should give their salary back. Why? They were energized. Because the Democratic base, they need a government that delivers for them. They are living a real life. There's nothing theoretical or abstract about their life. And a Democratic Party that works for them, a progressive government that works for them, is a government that makes a difference in their lives at their kitchen table. And that is exactly what we did. There is nothing theoretical about progressive government. You ask a real New Yorker, what is progressive government? They'll say progressive government is a government that makes a difference in my life and brought progress to me. And that's what we did. That's what the minimum wage was. You want to talk about changing people's lives. You go from making $9 an hour, that's $18,000 a year, to $30,000 a year. That changes your life. Paid family leave, 12 weeks, where now you can live your life with decency and you're not subject to what the employer says. Free college tuition. Every young person can sleep and not have to worry if they're going to get into college because they know that they can. Taking advantage of President Obama's affordable health care. We have the lowest rate of uninsured in New York in this state's history, down to 5%. We have closed more prisons than any state administration in history and given more people alternatives to incarceration. That's what makes a difference. And progressive government is a government that is going to stand up and fight for you when your rights are being violated. So when you have a president of the United States who abandons the people of Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria and treats them like second-class citizens, New York stood up and said, the federal government is wrong, we will fill the void, and we will not abandon Puerto Rico. A progressive government is a government that when the President of the United States sees white supremacists and KKK rallying in Charlottesville with such audacity that they didn't even bother to wear their hoods. Just think about it. How emboldened they were. How empowered they were that they thought they had an ally that they didn't even have to wear their hoods. And what did the president say afterwards? Well, there are good people on both sides. So a progressive government says, no, Mr. President, there are no good white supremacists and there are no good KKK members. But what Mr. Trump did to us in the last election was he sensed the middle class and working families' anxiety. And he exploited it. He exploited the fear. He went and he said, I'm going to be the middle class working man and woman's champion. Now don't underestimate our president. He is a great salesman. Marketer, Miss America pageant, apprentice, sells office buildings, sell cologne. The boy could sell ice in winter in Alaska. The boy is a great salesman. And he sold the middle class that he was going to be there for them. He was the middle class champion. Now, it was a scam. It was a fraud. It was a lie. He's the Bernie Madoff of politics, and ultimately, the Ponzi scheme failed. As soon as he got into office, he did his tax reform plan, 83% of the benefit to the richest 1%. On what theory? Well, if you give the corporations money, maybe they will give it to the workers. Maybe they'll give it to the workers. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe they'll buy a new Ferrari. Or maybe they'll put it in their pocket. And by the way, Mr. President, if you were actually telling the truth when you said I'm there for the workers, why didn't you give the tax cut to the workers, Mr. President? I'm there for the middle class. First thing he does, he turns around and he attacks the labor unions that built the middle class and protect the middle class. How is that being there for them? First thing he did is he turned around and attacked the Affordable Health Care Program, which gives more middle class and working families health insurance than have ever had it before in the state of New York. First thing he did is he turned around and he attacked the college loan programs, which is how middle class and working family students actually afford to go to college. It was a lie. It was a scam. Well, fool us once, Mr. President, but it's not going to happen again, not in New York. And the truth is, this president and his extreme conservative colleagues have declared war on the state of New York. They are attacking our rights, our values, and our economy. We're the state that passed marriage equality. They discriminate against members of the LGBTQ community. They're cutting college loans. We're the state that passed free college. They're attacking labor unions. We have the highest percentage of unionized New Yorkers, and we are proud of it. While our tough guy president cowers to the NRA, we passed the best gun control law in the United States of America, and they want to roll it back. And in that tax reform bill, they did something despicable, which is not only did they lie to the middle class, they passed a provision called SALT, ending the deductibility of state and local taxes. New York doesn't understand what this means yet. When you can't deduct your property tax and your income tax, that means in effect it's going to go up about 30%. So while he passes the tax reform saying to the country, I cut your taxes, New York, he raised our taxes. And 11 other states, all Democratic states, all states that Trump lost. What a coincidence that that provision only affected Democratic states. It wasn't a coincidence. It was his political retaliation to make us less competitive than the red states. President Lincoln ends the Civil War. President Trump started a civil war by pitting the red states against the blue states as to who was going to be economically sufficient. And look, he said it all in the very beginning of the campaign. When he first words out of his mouth was, I want to build a wall on the southern border. Remember? Yes. Well, it's about border security. It was not about border security. If it was about border security, he would have been talking about cameras and lasers and technology. That's how you would do border security. He wanted a wall. He wanted the physical monument of the wall. He wanted the symbolism of the wall. Why? Because he wanted to say to his supporters, to the angry voices, I'm going to build a wall and we're going to keep them out. And you know who them are? They are the people with different skin colors and different religions. They are the poor people. We're going to keep them out. He was all about building walls. Walls divide. Walls separate. Walls compartmentalize. Walls will never build a coalition. They will never build a consensus. They will never bring people together. He has run for office and he is governed by division. And we say in New York we're the exact opposite. We don't divide, we unify. You build walls, we build bridges. We believe in coming together. We believe in diversity. We believe in acceptance. We believe in tolerance. We believe in community. We believe we're at our best when we're working together and we're helping one another. And we're not threatened by differences. We relish the differences. And that's what this campaign is going to be all about. We finished the primaries. We are now going to unify as a Democratic Party. Do we have differences as a Democratic Party? Of course we do. Of course we do. Otherwise we would be them. Everybody drink the Kool-Aid. Don't say anything different. Here's the script. We're the big tent party. We have differences. We have debates. But at the end of the day, we come together like a family comes together in the face of a tragedy, because what unifies us is stronger than what divides us. And we're going to take this energy that we now have, and we're going to build on this energy. It's not going away. They were there Thursday night. There's a whole new Democratic movement. They're responding to what we did, and they're responding to what they want to do by stopping this threat in Washington. And we have to build on that energy. We have 50-something days to do even more organizing, more mobilizing, stronger than ever before, because we're going to be unified in a way we've never been unified before. We're going to go across this entire state and tell New Yorkers the truth, that this president has declared war on this state I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, you're a liberal, you're a conservative, you're a tall person, short person, whoever you are. This president has said he has declared war on you. Your taxes are going up. Your rights as a woman are going to be disqualified when they roll back Roe v. Wade 1970, which is exactly what they want to do. Your rights as a member of the LGBTQ community are being compromised. Your rights as a child who wants a robust public education is being threatened. Your health is being threatened by a president who has no regard for the environment and is going to end affordable health care. That is a threat on every New Yorker, not just a Democrat. Every New Yorker. And we're going to organize, and we're going to stop this president. Because our first step is going to be, we're going to elect a Democratic Congress to go down there and tell this man, no more, no more. We're not passing the bill. No more. This stops now. He passed his last piece of legislation. And a Democratic Congress that will stand up to him and stop the madness.
Yes.
Because right now it is an extreme conservative freight train. It's all him. It's his people in the Senate. It's his people in the Congress. He's trying to ram through this confirmation of Kavanaugh. Last thing they want to do is hear the facts, right, before they make a decision. Get a decision before the facts. A nominee to the Supreme Court disrespects women. What a shock from the Trump administration. A real Democratic Congress. And it's going to start in New York. And we're going to contest every seat in New York. And then we're going to go, and then we're going to elect a Democratic Senate in the state legislature. Because we need to pass laws to protect New York from what they're doing. New York is not just another state, he says with the arrogance of a New Yorker. You look at our history. Our history, our legacy was we were always the first. We were always the most progressive. We always showed the way. Workers' rights movement started here. Women's rights movement started here. NAACP started here. Gay rights movement started here. Stonewall. We always showed the way. And this nation, at this point of transition, when they are lost, we're going to show them the way forward. New York will be the lead to the resistance. We are going to fight back. We are going to say to this president, we are better as a people than you think we are. We are more tolerant. We are more loving. We are more accepting. We are more compassionate. We are more mutual than you believe we are. And New York is a better state than you believe it. And this country is a better country than this president believes it is. And we're going to stand up in New York, and we're going to lead the resistance, and we'll show this nation what direction to go, because in New York, the direction is up. Excelsior. God bless you, and congratulations.
Please welcome your next Attorney General, Tish James.